Welcome back to another episode of the Kelly and Erinn Show. As always, we're so happy that you're here. We're so honored that you're taking some time with us, hanging out with us. And for those of you that don't know who we are Kelly and Erinn, and we are the co-founders. We're also a mother and daughter team. We're the co-founders, though, of Kelly's Bake Shop. And Kelly's Bake Shop is Canada's first 100% allergy-friendly bake shop. So everything that we do at Kelly's is 100% gluten-free, plant-based, dairy-free, egg-free, and peanut free, and we're currently operating out of our beautiful location in downtown Oakville, and we are reopening up our second location in beautiful downtown Burlington in the next couple of months. So thank you so much for coming along on this journey with us. We like to hang out and talk about things that are on our hearts and we feel are really important to chat about. We talk about business, talk about life, talk about all that fun stuff in between as well. So today, we are diving into something that's at the core of everything that we do in our personal life and in our business. It's purpose and integrity. Simon Squibb, who we spoke about a couple weeks ago, incredible author, incredible guy on Instagram, says that purpose is the foundation of any meaningful dream. And we'd add that integrity is how that dream actually stays alive. For us at Kelly's Bake Shop, this has really meant on never compromising on any of our values, our quality, our ingredients, our why, even when things have been overwhelming and really, really tough. It's purpose and integrity that have kept us moving forward. So, Mom, let's kind of like set the scene, let's set the stage on really what purpose means as an entrepreneur and how we've really stuck by our integrity and our values along the way.
I think there's so many of us, most of us even in this world are lost with the vision of what they want for their life, and they're just very simply, you know, I, I guess easily molded by society to just mosey on through life with all of the, you go to school, you find a husband or a wife or whatever, you get the house with the white picket fence, you get a mortgage, you go to a job 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and you'll get a car payment, get a house payment, go into debt with some Visas and MasterCards, and then one day you're 6 feet under, right? And that is not finding a purpose. That is just staying on a conveyor belt of what life is expecting of you, what society's expecting of you, to not, shift out of any kind of norms. But the real visionaries and the real people who create a ruckus and turn the world upside down and allow us to create some introspection within ourselves and shift ourselves and our values and go, oh my God, this is so inspiring. You get inspired by these people that are real like vision makers, and that is where I've always wanted to live, and it has always been my goal is, what is my purpose? What is my dream? Like what's my dream? What's my purpose? And I think that most of us, we're going to spend the, right till the day we die trying to discover what's our purpose, because that is what burns inside of us as a human. Because if you don't feel that burning inside you, then you are you've resigned your life to be from the outside forces. So that burning comes from knowing that there's something more, knowing that there's something greater beyond yourself, beyond the four walls that you live in, beyond your relationships, beyond driving your car to work every day, like beyond all of that. There is an actual purpose for each and every one of us. I'm so grateful that, it was 15 years ago in 2010 or 2009 when I came up with even the name Kind Food, that was an imprint on my heart. And when I discovered that imprint on my heart, to realize that my purpose was to bring optimal health into the world, I really, how do I say this? I was released from that doldrum, those mundane days of not being inspired in my life. All of a sudden, I was like plugged into a light socket and went, whoa! It went off into the stratosphere. And of course, it's very different. Like my life is very different Kelly's Bake Shop, Kind Food, Let Us Love. They've all been like the iterations of that purpose that I was looking for and seeking and found. But but once it was discovered and I was on that the really right path, then, I felt my whole life go in a whole other trajectory. And with that, what you were talking about too is the integrity and the honoring of it. And we can talk about this more because I think that's a really important facet of it, where integrity falls into place here. So yeah, that's kind of where I see what a purpose-driven life is. There's an effortless I'm gonna get this right,
Effortlessness.
an
I got you.
effortlessness to it because you've been found. Your purpose is not separate from you. Like, you've been found. Your purpose was revealed, like the lid was taken off the pot, and you go, "Oh my god, there it is there. I found it," and you are, like, connected to it and embody it now from this moment onward.
Yeah, totally. And I think that without that purpose and without that defining vision of like what you just said, mom, of like, you know, making people healthy through delicious food and, really trying to heal people, without that purpose, the success really can feel hollow. I think that you really have to like look into like what are you really passionate about, what are you really wanting to, like, how are you really wanting to serve the planet, because there's a lot of the times where a lot of people will go towards wherever the money is, right? They're like, oh, we can just make all this money doing this one thing without that purpose. Like there's no connection, there's no attachment, there's no real intention behind it too, right?
It's, we can all be ambitious, right? We can all be, driven to, maybe make money and, make that our goal, but is that really fulfilling, right? So the fulfilling part, and that's what you're saying there, is that you are filling up what your soul contract is to come here. Like, when we're out there before even being born and stuff, and we are, some of you might not agree with this vision of what I have for our evolution of our lives, but I do believe in soul contracts. I do believe that we have chosen everything, the parents, the skin color, to the where we live geographically, to the husbands and wives and relationships, to the kid that we're going to end up giving birth to, right down to the animals that we're going to have. Like, everything is so intrinsically, like, created, is so divine. It's so perfect. And this is multiple lifetimes of us getting it right with the same kind of lessons that have been required for our soul's evolution. So, here I am now today in this world, in this, temporary, body thing, and with but with the same, though, passion that's burning through me, because my soul, my energy has never been destroyed. It has been now just morphed and changed into my next iteration of whatever my soul is and my soul journey. So, we can think all day long that it's a money process, and money is the ultimate goal, and the bigger the house or the more the cars or the more, whatever fancy cars and whatever things you need, diamonds on your fingers and stuff. It's like, it's so that's not the fulfilling part, because it's actually proven that the people that acquire more and more and more are actually the most unhappy people in
Mhm.
this world. So the people, though, that live with purpose, and there was a study done, and I think I read it to you. It was at 13,000 Americans. They did a study on 13,000 Americans over the age of 50. And with a purpose-driven life, if they actually fulfilled their purpose, there was like a significant reduction in mortality. Purpose and early death go hand in hand. So the more purpose you have, the more driven you are to find your purpose, but then fulfill your purpose, live with purpose. Your whole life revolves around your purpose. It equates to having a longer lifespan.
I love that.
Let's use my mom as an example, who's all right, who's
90 years old and
yeah,
kicking.
and her best friend was Bessie, who passed away a couple of years ago. She lived to 100, but they were very dedicated to, I shouldn't say they, because Bessie was dedicated in something different than my mom, but my mom was dedicated to, or is dedicated, present moment, dedicated to the church and raising money for her church and the church she's been in for like I think for like 80 years since she was like 10 years old. And yeah, she took a break for a while, but regardless, her friends are there, her life's there, her lifestyle is there, but she goes there and she brings people joy because she's one of the lead soloists, a soprano singer at 90. And I go like, mom is the oxygen you're bringing into your lungs, and how she is this showman. Like, she's such a good performer, and she puts on such a good show when she sings, and she knows she's infusing people with love and joy. And I'm like, that's the thing that she really enjoys doing now in her life. And I believe that that's giving her a purpose. If we don't have that purpose, if we don't have that morsel, those things, if we're just living our lives every single day and we're still looking after our kids and they might be in their 20s and 30s now, and our life is revolving around, corralling and controlling, aspects of our life that really don't serve us, and distractions for our life, that we're not paying attention to our life, right? This is what I'm just trying to say, is that so many of us create distractions. We can create illness potentially. We can create distractions with our kids that are now young adults and don't need us any longer, but we use them to make the excuse that we don't have to look at our life now. And then before you know it, illness pops up, unhappiness pops up, because, it's directly related with unhappiness, non-fulfillment, living with trauma, not doing the healing, not paying attention to childhood wounds and stuff and things that we need to, look at and go, oh, okay, so this happened to me as a kid, like, let's move through this. Let's get rid of these things and become a better version of ourselves. Like, this is what we're here to do. And I'm sorry, Erin, I'm sort of distracting and taking us off a tangent here,
Okay.
but I believe it all works together, that our purpose is right here. Like, it's right here to be seen. It's right here. But the more distractions that we create around us and walls around us on purpose, subconsciously, to not deal with and honoring our purpose will make us just absolutely unhappy. And as I said, the mortality rate is very indicative to not living a long life when you are not living with your purpose, fulfilling a purpose, your purpose, not
Isn't that
anybody else's.
isn't that so incredible though? Because yeah, I pulled up that study too while you were just chatting there, and yeah, 13,000 Americans.
Mhm.
And, like, that's just it's absolutely incredible when you can actually break it down like that, of people living their purpose or not living their purpose, and their actual health gets impacted as a result. Like, it's unfreaking
Absolutely.
believable.
Now, I can relate that to, so can we just talk about ourselves too? Because Erin, like we can just segue into our health things that have gone through in our lives even too, and unhappiness times, right? So when we opened up just before Kind Food, you were in McMaster, and I mean, you were in McMaster while we were opening Kind Food for 2 years. So you were halfway through university, but you were dealing with extraordinary anxiety and health issues and stuff like that. And I have always believed this. And actually, we've never really had this conversation, an exact conversation about it, in that I think that Erin wasn't living her purpose in university. And it distracted her from, had you been living your purpose, perhaps there would have been a greater level of joy and connection to your body, to your avatar, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a great perspective. I think that I mean, I haven't really thought about that much, and I think that, like, talking about all that stuff would be incredible to actually have, like, a full episode on it, because I know that there's so many people out there that have moved through their own anxiety times, panic attacks, like, all that kind of stuff, and guys, I have gone through it, like, to the depths of my being, so we can chat all about that, and I think, like, yes, there's definitely an element of that, because going to university for me, like, I was good in school. I can memorize things, I can put them out into a test, I can get straight A's. That's like no issue for me whatsoever. But I remember sitting there in class and being like, but, like, is this really it? Like, is this really, like, my purpose? And I don't mean to say my purpose, because I know we're talking about purpose right now, but is this really, like, the purpose of life right now? For me to go and sit in a lecture hall, listen to a professor, and then recite the stuff that the professor is telling me? Like, why? Like, why am I doing this? So there definitely could have been some rumblings of that emotional resistance that I was feeling within that time for sure, which is interesting when you like take a look back because that was now going on 15, 16 years ago at this point. And yeah, as like a 19-year-old Erin Weatherby, yeah, I definitely could have been moving through that for sure.
And it stayed with you, those imprints, those, the anxiety programming that, you lived with for probably the better part of 15 years,
Totally. Totally.
possibly about that time. But again, I would like to bottle this. So this conversation, this whole segment of our conversation, and I would like to do this on another episode. And I'm going to interview you
Perfect.
about anxiety because I do believe that anxiety is comes through us when we are not living fluidly through our purpose. We're so focused with an outside part of the world,
Future, future.
future tripping, outside of us, not connected,
Mhm.
side of us equals anxiety. And anyways, I would really like to talk about that with you.
Great. So we'll bottle that up right now. And I do want to just jump into just talking about specifically with purpose and integrity with Kelly's Bake Shop as a whole, because Kelly's Bake Shop is a business that is so deeply interwoven with purpose and integrity and just incredible values. Like it's just so deep. And if we had built Kelly's Bake Shop to just make money, we might have compromised on cheaper ingredients, taken shortcuts on things, less care in our hospitality because our hospitality, you guys, like what we say to our team is our quality of our ingredients and quality of our baked goods is here, but our hospitality has to match it. So for us, it's like
Here.
both things. I mean, I'm saying here, but it's really like above my head. That's the expectation. But like, there's a lot of places that you go into, especially in Canada, where you kind of feel like you're bothering the people that are working behind the counter there, and it's like, no, no, no. We want our customers to feel like they just walked into our living room. Like we really want them to feel like they have this beautiful sense of belonging when they come into Kelly's Bake Shop. And the ingredients that we use as well too, we use beautiful organic sweet potato and pumpkin puree. We use high protein and fiber flours and organic and fair trade sugars and cocoas and just like beautiful quality ingredients and natural colors and natural flavors all sourced from plants. Like you don't hear about that anywhere else. Like there is not another bakery that is doing what we are doing with the level of integrity and the level of care and the level of love that is woven into everything that we do. And for us, there's never even been a conversation of, oh, should we compromise on this? It's like, no, 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 we would never compromise on that. Like it's just not a thing that we do. So I think that like we can talk about this kind of stuff, but I think it's so important to just relate it back to the business that we have grown for the last 13 years and really had so much integrity behind everything that we've done.
And so this business, so we'll relate everything back to Kelly's Bake Shop as this big example, is you're so right that there's no wiggle room, right? So when you're living with purpose, it trickles into and it infuses into all the things you're touching. So this business was built on purpose. It was built on purpose with an unwavering level of integrity for the ingredients, for the hospitality, for the love, for, our hiring practices, all of it, all the people, all the things, everything that comes into our business, it matches up all of the list of everything that comes from here, right? And so now here we are, we've had things come at us like, being canceled or, the tariffs with the US and a lot of our products were coming up from America. And, like, what do you do when Canada's not a manufacturing country? Like, let's be honest here. Like, it's really difficult to maintain a strong Canadian company like we are, and you have already sourced all of your products out to create what your business was going to be 15 years ago, but then all of a sudden, the government makes some changes, and Canada has been driven into the ground without having a manufacturing independence created within this country. Like the last 10 years has been a complete joke, like just saying it as it is. So for what it's driven manufacturing into the ground. So we've been going, okay, we've had to shift, we've had to pivot, we've had to recreate, we've had to make a lot of our ingredients ourselves now, like even some of the colors and things like that too. We're bringing a lot of our things up from California. This was a real natural state of California is amazing, and colors coming from flower petals and all these plants and stuff. And I'm going, well, if we're not going to do that now, and if they're going to put these tariffs on them, okay, we got to shift gears, so it wasn't like we were ever going to go artificial. We weren't ever going to use a petroleum based crappy products that are made up here in Canada, or they're hard to find. So when, okay, well, we have to start making these ingredients ourselves. Like, let's figure this out. And again, so our integrity has stayed very fluid and very, very much very high with that integrity. We got canceled publicly, but we've still stood strong to be these leaders, and it has made our voice stronger, actually, to stand for what we believe in, which is truth and authenticity and freedom. And that is our purpose, is to be these two strong women powerhouses, to go, yeah, you know what, like, eat right, live right, love right, just be free and love one another. Our voices have gotten louder, if anything, now through all of this whole process of it. And there's moments though where it's been difficult, and I'd be lying if I said it was always easy. So to live with your purpose and to live with your integrity and to live with a vision that is bigger than you, and you don't know what the future is like. We don't know how our lives are all playing out. None of us do, but all we can do is put our best foot forward and become, you know exactly what we believe God, universe, purpose, is meant to be, and allow that to unfold.
Don't you also think too that because we feel so strongly like in our purpose and what we do, that it's allowed us to weather the storms that we've gone through in such a more like we just such a more resilient way? We've been able to move through some really, really difficult things that if someone didn't have a purpose and they, just I don't want to say just had a business, because everyone has a business and it's intentional in some capacity, but if you're not aligned with that purpose, some of these things that we've moved through would have broken most people. With having Burlington closing, getting canceled, all the pivots, all the things that we've moved through without that purpose and that knowing to be like, no, no, we are moving forward, we are pushing forward, and we know that our purpose is bigger than us. It's bigger than this one little thing that we're moving through right now to get to the other side. Does
I
that
think
make
our
sense?
our purpose ends up being the jet fuel,
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
the purpose ends up being the motor on the back of the boat that you're on.
Yeah.
And, you're in the middle of the ocean and all these waves are hitting you, but without a motor, you're just going to get tossed and the boat's going to flip. So our motor behind us has been this pushing thing, it's been this purpose driven motor that it's like our North Star. Like, so it's given us this direction. It's given us this ability, and exactly what you said, Erin, to hone in on our strength
Yeah.
and our courage, because you know that that is the path that you have to be on. No matter what, that is the path. No one's going to take me off my path. I don't care how many times I'm going to get canceled. Like, you're never going to take me off my path. Like, take your best shot. Like, I'm alive. And as long as I'm alive and I have the ability to speak and I have the ability to love and I have this ability to hug and encourage and inspire others, I am going to continue.
I love that. I think that's so beautiful. And I think, Kelly's Bake Shop, if we tie it into Kelly's Bake Shop, it's become a love brand, not just because of the cupcakes and the treats that we sell, but because really of the story and the values and the trust that people feel as a result. People can feel our purpose. Our customers can feel the integrity. They can feel the love. They can feel all of that stuff behind it. And that's really what has been so instrumental to our success of Kelly's Bake Shop.
It's creating this, I like to use the word wisdom,
Mhm.
because to me it means something so cultured and so infusing. Like, I imagine these elderly people in a village, and you walk in there and there's the wise wisdom that they have for those that enter this village. And, this is what our world needs so much of. And the distraction of social media and the distraction and the divide and all the crap that's put out there now, honest to God, just want to say this for a moment too. For the past week, I went, I'm out of here, man. Like you guys are just pissing me off too much. All of this divide, all these distractions. And if it's not this, it's this. And if it's not this, it's that. And it's our calling right now to go within. And if anything, this is this is so required. And I just want to offer this to you guys, is that to find your purpose, the ability to serve humanity, it is beyond you. It is beyond taking. It is beyond being, that ambitious kind of like outlook on life and, you know, taking. It's about what you're able to give and how you are able to help others and other sentient beings and from animals to people to nature to whatever it is. It's our obligation to serve. It's our obligation to find this purpose. And Erin and I'm so grateful I've got you, my kid, because we are on such a purpose driven trajectory right now. It's definitely not about the money. Definitely. It's about what we are finding and awakening within ourselves and sharing it with you guys. Like this podcast, we're not making money from it. It's just sharing our hearts. I just want to offer something that I did the other day because I'm really looking into getting a rescue dog, and it's something that has been freaking me out. But then, I'm up and back and forth because when I do it, I want to do it as 110% commitment, of course. So I don't want to make a mistake, but I'm screwing myself up thinking I'm going to make a mistake with this, or you know what I mean? I'm not trusting the process right now. But anyways, besides the point, I actually have my eye on one little guy right now. So we're going to see if
So
it's coming through for me. So I'm so excited. These are the voices of these helpless animals that really don't have a say in what's happened to them. They're just loving beings and they don't have a say. 2 days ago, I just went, screw it. Like, I'm going to go and sponsor one anyways, whether I was going to get him or not. So Kelly's Bake Shop is now paying for the foster of a dog that's coming up from Los Angeles. And because, it was $600, like going, okay, so I'm sponsoring his trip and stuff, our businesses. And I'm going but what's $600, you know, like, to infuse a little buddy that knows now that he's loved or she's loved, and that they're, going to be coming up to Canada and have a whole new life. And, all this stuff, it was just so fulfilling for me. But to me, I find my purpose is always about how I can give back and how I can just make the world a better place, like leave no footprints behind. I'm about creating the love for the planet, and whatever it takes to do it is what I'm prepared to do. And so, I mean, I just wanted to add that there's so many ways that we can help out and give back. And it doesn't have to be your whole life going, okay, this is my purpose, but it's just going to be Kelly's Bake Shop. No, my purpose is elevating and helping humanity, and with the optimal health and with, hugs and with love and all. It's a total love filled business. That is what I am living through right now.
I love that. I think that's just so beautiful. And I don't know, what do you think? Is that
I don't
good?
know. I just wanted to give that idea to people because we're just sort of riffing this right now and helping people find their way, find their purpose through this life that is guaranteed. It's hell bent on hijacking us. And this is where we have to pay attention to this hijacking. You can't cancel love. I had to wear this today. There is absolutely love cannot be destroyed. It can only be amplified. And it's our purpose now, Kelly and Erin, to amplify this love as much as possible in whatever it takes, and be the leaders and be leaders to to help show you how to make a difference. So if it is sponsoring animals, if it is changing a path in your life, if it is changing your job, it could be quitting your job for God's sake. It could be saying, you know what, I'm going to start doing this instead, or I'm going to do this as a sideline, my hobby that I love so much because I'm so good at knitting baby bonnets for babies or something like that, right? But, maybe you need to go and donate them to, a bunch of shelters, women's shelters, and for these babies now that are cold because they had to go and leave a safe home. And there's so many ways to create a purpose that is about giving back. And it usually comes from what your hobby is.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to add that it's not going to be what your job is, your 9 to 5 job. It's something bigger and deeper and crazier than that. But just offering for you guys to think about this, like, what's my purpose? What is it that is going to fuel me to become a force to reckon with in this transition that this world is going through right now? We are going through something so big. And if you guys don't see it or feel it, like, I'm sorry, we can't help you, but the world is shifting in such a big way. And I'm just choosing to be on, and I know Erinn is too, the right side, the side that is giving back at all costs. Like, we're just giving now. And that's where we're at right now.
I love that. That's just so beautiful and such a powerful way to end this podcast episode. If you feel that it's appropriate to wind us down
Let's
in
do
this
it.
moment, I honestly love all of that. And I love the different little roads that we went down on this conversation as well too. And I think that, I mean, I really hope that whoever's listening to us, thank you so much for hanging out with us until the 34-minute mark here on our podcast. We really, really appreciate it. And if you like this episode, please subscribe to our podcast. Please leave us a review. We would be so freaking grateful if you just clicked 5 stars on on Apple or on Spotify as well, and subscribe to our podcast as well on YouTube as well, because we're also on YouTube. You can watch our beautiful faces here on YouTube as well. And until next time, we will chat with you soon.